time, the greatest intellects on the planet who have become great scientists, now they are taking you to an absolutely illogical spot. Absolutely illogical spot. What is coming out as a combination of this general theory of relativity and quantum theory, and which is… people are trying to propound it as a string theory, is pure science fiction, or it is like… I don't know if you watch those old movies, what are those, Maya Jal and what are those? What is that N.T. Ramarao movies were coming where people will appear here, disappear there, come here, go there, the same man is in 10 different forms he takes on, all these things. Scientists are beginning to talk like these movies now because they don't have perception for this, but their mathematical calculations is giving them a feeler of what is to be expected. So spiritual process is a way of exploring the interiority, exploring that dimension which is the source of the physical. There is a whole science and technology for this. The reason why it has become ridiculous in many ways is… one thing is because we did not, or over a period of time, the necessary institutions did not survive. The necessary investment in terms of time, money, intellect, resources, people did not happen in that direction. So all kinds of people, anybody who reads the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita becomes spiritual today. Yes, because it's very easy. Now you can talk things that nobody can… a kind of logic which is unbeatable, a kind of logic which is totally unbeatable, but nothing spiritual about you learning a book. Maybe the person who spoke the book is talking about something else, but you reading the book and knowing it logically, there is nothing spiritual about it. If you intellectually incline yourself, you're paving the way, that's all. The road is not the destination, isn't it? You read the Gita, you got inspired by Krishna's words. Now, maybe you're inclined, but you're not spiritual. I want you to understand the distinction. Spirituality means a dimension beyond the physical has become a living reality for you. For you, the creator is not somebody who is sitting up there. Creator is not somebody that you look up to. Creator is not somebody that you pray to. Creator is not somebody that you dream of or imagine. It is a living reality, like your breath and your body. The source of creation also functions within you every moment of your life. If this happens, then we say you're spiritual, otherwise we say you're on the path. Now you want to go to a dimension which is beyond the physical, through a physical means, it is not going to happen. You need a perception which is beyond the physical, only then you approach the dimension which you refer to as spiritual. The reason why this has not happened the way it should have happened, especially in this country, which has such a large body of spiritual work behind it. When Mark Twain, you know Mark Twain? When Mark Twain visited India for over 3 months, he had a good guide who took him around to the right places. And when he was leaving, he said, anything that can ever be done, either by man or God, has been done in this land. This is probably one of the best compliments India has ever received. And it is so. You might have lived in India without knowing the real heartbeat of India, because in every possible way that you can explore the inner dimension, it's been done. Nowhere else on the planet has ever such a thing has happened. The volume of spiritual work that has happened in this land. In spite of that, why is it not alive in a real sense, being alive in everybody's life? Is simply because we did not, or those institutions which transmitted this kind of knowledge did not withstand the rigors of time and history, and it crumbled. And later on, for whatever reasons, we did not invest the necessary investment to make these things happen. Especially today, because People are talking in terms of, you know, everything is fast food and fast whatever. Without investing the necessary time or effort, people want to do things. Because of this, spiritual sciences are becoming more and more ridiculous. On the street side, without any commitment, people want to do spirituality. Because of this, because it became a commercial force by itself, because it became a product that could be sold and bought, it became loose. Because a subjective dimension cannot be approached without the necessary focus. In the sense, see, for example, can somebody tell me what's the greatest movie that you ever saw in your life? A cinema. Okay. Okay. Do Aankhe Bara Hath, whatever. So it had a… why you are saying it's the greatest movie is, it had a big impact on you. So you went into the cinema theater, you sat in the dark house, breathing everybody else's exhalation, breathing in everybody's exhalation, sat there glued to the screen. Instead of this kind of arrangement, instead of this kind of very focused arrangement where everything else was cut off, dark room means everything else is cut off. Your whole attention is right there on the screen. Instead of this, let us say, you're driving on the street, every advertisement hoarding that you see turns into your video screen and everywhere it's playing. You are driving, once in a way you watch Do Aankhe or Bara Hath, and you saw the movie like this. Would it have the same impact on you? Even a simple cinema needs a focused approach, otherwise you will miss the whole point, isn't it so? It's just two-dimensional. Cinema is just two-dimensional and that needs total attention, otherwise you'll miss the whole import of what it is. When this is so, when you talk about spiritual, out of which every dimension in the existence has come out of, you need absolute focus. And right now the necessary dedication to create this focus and dedication is what is missing. Because of this, spiritual sciences are becoming a ridiculous process where scientists are just dismissing it as nonsense. But slowly it is taking its… it is getting its foothold here and there. Somebody was mentioning three different fora. One is the World Economic Forum. For the first time, such a thing was unthinkable just 2-3 years ago. For the first time this year, they have a session called Spirituality and Science. This was just unheard of. World Economic Forum is supposed to be totally of a different scale and no question of spirituality there, but for the first time science and spirituality segment has come up there also. Because scientists are at a… they're facing a wall, they're not able to look beyond that. They need some help somehow, how to go beyond this. Because the physical stops at a certain point, how to explore beyond that? Because if you do not explore that, everything that you have explored in the physical seems all contradictory and mixed up. Now, exploring spirituality, what it means. See, if you just move your hand like this, you can feel the air, which normally you did not feel, isn't it? Right now you're sitting here, this place is… there is air, but you can't feel it. Though you're breathing it, you still can't feel it, but if you just move it, you can feel it. Suddenly little movement that you created with your hand, you are able to feel something that you could not. You are perceiving something that you normally do not. So similarly, that which is the source of this creation, if you want to feel it, you have to create a little moment inside. Without that little moment, you will not feel it. You have to create a certain dimension of intensity inside. All yogic sadhana is only towards this. Yoga is not about giving you therapy. It is not about your backache or headache or asthma or whatever. Health benefits that come out of yoga are purely side effects of yoga. Yoga is not a therapy, it's a discipline. If you take this as a discipline, therapeutic values are there. Therapy will happen, But you never do yoga as a therapy, it is done as a discipline. Because using it as a therapy is like… Can I tell you a story? I seek your permission because the moment I say once upon a time, many people here, the light is right, you will think it is bedtime. Let us say you have never seen an aircraft in your life. You do not know the very concept of flight. And one day, today morning you came out of your house, there's a huge airplane parked in front of your house. What is the first thing? Any unknown object means fear, suspicion. Which is how, which is how everybody approaches me. First fear, then suspicion. I have to work through all that before they see what it is. An airplane also faces the same thing because it's a new dimension. First fear, then suspicion, but then the braver lot of you go and by chance you opened the door and went inside. There you saw rows and rows of seats, so immediately your mind says, oh, this is a bus. The best bus we have ever seen, really wonderful. And then one of you got the engine roaring, now you want to drive it. But these two ugly things, they're going to hit your buildings, lampposts and everything, you don't like it. So you thought this is a wonderful bus, but these two ugly appendages, so you decided to do a surgery and you chopped off these two wings and started driving this bus. You're very happy. You got a great bus, you're really happy. But somebody who knows what it means to fly, if he sees you driving an aircraft with chopped off wings, he will cry. So, that which can be a ladder to the divine, if you use it just to cure your backache, I'll feel like crying. But I am not belittling your backache. When you have backache, that is the biggest thing. Who cares about the divine when you have a backache? Even if God appears, you will only ask, backache should go, isn't it? Isn't it so? Body has that kind of power over you. Once your body is in pain or in some kind of distress, who is interested in God, heaven, enlightenment nonsense? The only thing that matters is, right now this problem should go because body has such a power over you. Once it begins to hurt, once it begins to cause some suffering to you, it dominates everything. So, spiritual sciences being used as therapy, no. Spiritual sciences should be propagated as a discipline. Therapy will happen. If you are well tuned within yourself, everything will function well in the system. That is a natural happening. But using parts of spirituality as a way to cure yourself of something or this or that, you will only complicate your life in so many different ways because this broken up spirituality, this spirituality which people want to do in segments and just for a particular benefit, could complicate life in so many different ways. I will not go into that aspect, but now we are talking about an academy for spiritual sciences. It's extremely important that it is propagated in its holistic and subjective way, without the necessary subjectivity. Just the physicality of yoga as it's generally happening in the West is like a stillbirth. It's better not to get pregnant than to have stillbirth, isn't it? If health is all that people are seeking, I would say instead of doing yoga, just go play tennis, climb a mountain, take a walk, swim, it'll do better. I'm not saying yoga will not give you health, definitely it will. But I'm saying this is a ladder to the divine. It is a way of climbing up to the highest possibility within yourself. It is a way of approaching the Creator through the creation. Thank you very much.